In high school, I actually spent most of my free time at the library reading. I know. I started with Section 500 since I had this really strong desire to learn how things worked and figured math and natural sciences, which is Section 500, was the way to get there. Moving through the books, I saw this progression from physics to astronomy, which is Section 520, and I made the connection that astronomy had this really strong history in how we related to and wondered about our world and universe with a solid mathematical framework underpinning those processes, which I hadn't been aware of before. So before I had thought about astronomy as just pretty pictures and looking up at the sky for new discoveries, which of course sparked my wonder and curiosity, but it wasn't until I made that connection following along the progression of the Dewey Decimal System in the library that I saw it as an outgrowth of mathematics and physics fundamental to our understanding of how the universe works. That really hooked me. SciX is essentially a super library, an information portal that provides an opportunity to learn and discover and make connections. I was drawn to the project immediately since it aligned with a core part of me and how I became a scientist. But more about my actual planetary science career, I started that at MIT, where I studied exoplanets as my main research focus. And I remember a conversation I had with my undergraduate advisor that was really a pivotal moment in my path to planetary science. He asked if I wanted to pursue astrophysics or the solar system in graduate school. And I hadn't really thought about astronomy as this binary before of astrophysics versus planetary. Working with exoplanets, I could pretty much go in either direction. I had this really strong interest in physics and trying to figure out how everything worked, which astrophysics provides on the grandest scale, but I appreciated the relative accessibility of the solar system. So I decided in that moment that I would pursue the solar system path for my PhD. I continued my exoplanet research for my master's at Texas A&M Commerce. That's actually where I first learned about the ADS. My advisor told us to use the ADS every morning to find 5 interesting articles and read their abstracts to stay up to date in the field. This was before the new ADS UI, so my first memory of it is with the classic form that I know that some guest users still prefer. After that, I pursued a PhD in planetary science at UCF, where I carried out microgravity experiments to study impacts into regolith or space dirt relevant to particle collisions forming solar system bodies. I led a mission concept study for a Uranus mission called Quest and worked as a postdoc and then research scientist at Southwest Research Institute, where I studied Saturn's rings with Cassini data analysis, supported Europa Clipper mission, and continued my granular mechanics studies, developing numerical models to study grain flow on Mars. I became very involved in the planetary community through my roles on various committees, social media groups, and through connections with people across the various subdisciplines that I contributed to. I saw this job posting for the planetary scientist position to support the expansion of the ADS and felt it was a perfect fit for me. I love planetary science, connecting communities, and libraries. Coupled with the super exciting recent explosion in information science, this is really a dream job for me, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm really fortunate to have been involved in many different aspects of planetary science, from exoplanets to the moon, Mars, asteroids, planetary rings and satellites, ice giants, space exploration missions, and different techniques for these studies, including telescope observations, spacecraft observations, numerical modeling, and experiments. My experience with this diversity of subdisciplines and research techniques gives me some valuable insight into the needs of a variety of researchers. For example, the importance of technical reports and experimental methods papers in various archives. But a single person can't really represent a field as vast and interdisciplinary as planetary science. So I'm working to bring in additional voices to this process to ensure the needs of the communities of SciX is expanding into are supported and effectively considered. They should know that it's really worth it to take the time to explore the system. And once they do, they'll discover a host of features that enable them to access much more relevant information than Google Scholar, including links to data products associated with publications, open source versions of the paper where available, links to all the references of the paper citing that paper, access to personal libraries to keep a running bibliography of their work or any topics of interest, along with notifications to get updates about new relevant papers through the My ADS, soon to be My SciX feature, providing daily or weekly email updates with relevant literature information based on user preferences. I'm currently reaching out to various NASA networks to connect with NASA subject matter experts to form an ambassadors program. This would have a dual purpose of disseminating information about SciX to a variety of communities while also serving as points of contact for receiving input from those communities about how effective the platform is at catering to their respective needs. I'm also planning to reach out to each of the NASA analysis and assessment groups to present an introduction to SciX at their upcoming meetings and provide opportunities for feedback from those communities, including suggestions on additional content ingestion, data linkages, relevant features of interest. I will also be distributing user surveys to Planetary communities, advertised through various social media groups and listservs at a regular cadence to give as many folks as possible the opportunity to share their input. We estimate that there's around 94% coverage of planetary science literature already currently available on the SciX platform. For each publication, we link to data or software products where available, open access versions of the paper where available. And once you click on the publication, you can then explore similar publications, co-reads of the publication, links directly to the figures, direct links to the references and papers citing it. The archives relevant to planetary science we currently point to are MAST and PDS, and we are actively working with these archives and other elements of the planetary data ecosystem to improve our data linkages. The integration of multiple scientific disciplines within SciX offers transformative potential for cross-disciplinary research. By bridging diverse fields such as astrophysics, planetary science, heliophysics, earth science, and biological and physical sciences, SciX creates a unique platform for sharing knowledge and methodologies across what are traditionally fairly siloed areas. This interdisciplinary approach can lead to novel insights, fostering a more holistic understanding of complex scientific questions. As an example, planetary science greatly benefits from astrophysical research and understanding star-planet interactions, while Earth science insights significantly inform studies about other planets. The amalgamation of these disciplines within SciX allows for easy discovery of parallel research, encouraging collaborations that might not have been previously considered. This integration is particularly crucial in addressing grand challenges that span across multiple scientific domains, including climate change, space exploration, and the search for extraterrestrial life. One example is the personal libraries feature that allows users to share their personally curated libraries with other users. SciX also links to relevant data products and software tools, enhancing the discoverability of these products and raising the awareness of researchers to relevant collaborators they may not otherwise learn about through other search platforms. We also provide visualizations of author networks so a user can easily find related authors working on a topic of interest. Also, with the expansion into new fields, the recommendation system can now suggest publications across different disciplines, sparking new ideas for interdisciplinary research. In the future, we also plan to explore ways to directly connect collaborators through an author profile database that would allow for recommendation systems to include potential collaborators. We will engage in regular outreach through social media, mailing lists, and conferences. And that will include sharing updates on the platform and conducting surveys to gather feedback from the planetary science and other expansion communities. Planetary scientists will be encouraged to participate in the development process of SciX, including beta testing new features, contributing ideas for functionality enhancements, and providing feedback on usability and content relevance. Also, in addition to our ambassador program, I am working with NASA's first chief scientist for the planetary data ecosystem to assemble an Earth and space science data community group that will include a steering committee with members from the planetary science community. And these programs will serve as a bridge between the SciX development team and the broader communities it serves. We will also regularly engage with related initiatives and projects within NASA, like the NASA Science Discovery Engine, and the wider scientific community to ensure SciX is compatible with and complementary to other tools and resources used by planetary scientists. Acknowledging SciX wherever possible, if it has helped you access relevant information, would go a really long way. Pointing folks in your lab, groups, teams, communities to the resource would greatly help us spread awareness of it. We're also working on a set of educational tools to distribute to our ambassadors and other folks involved with outreach for the project that will lower the barrier to teaching others about how to get the most out of this resource. These materials will be designed with new users in mind who are brand new to the system. Once these template presentations, infographics, and lessons are available, they will be accessible on our website, and anyone can use them to more effectively share the capabilities of SciX. I'd say please reach out. I'd be so happy to hear from any member of the community. I really most want to figure out who and what communities aren't receiving adequate attention from SciX and to rectify that to the best of my ability. So if you can't find your papers or relevant information, especially if it makes you turn to another resource, please let me know either through the feedback form on the website or directly to my email so I can work with a team to include it. If there are particular data resources or other forms of gray literature you find particularly valuable that aren't in our holdings, let us know. The same is true for any questions about using the platform. We welcome any questions folks have and are very responsive to addressing these. I'm just really excited about the expansion of the ADS to include representation from all NASA Science Mission Directorate disciplines, including planetary science, earth science, heliophysics, and biological and physical sciences. I am very passionate about lowering barriers and providing the community with opportunities to learn and grow. And given what a valuable tool the ADS has been for the astronomy and astrophysics community, I'm just really excited to lead the effort within the planetary science community and to be part of sharing this wealth of information with our expansion communities.